Hello everybody, good morning, bonjour à tout le monde. Il est 18h en France, il est 9h aux États-Unis. Je vous dis ça parce qu'on est en direct avec Curt Stevenson aujourd'hui. Donc, just one thing, we're going to switch to English in a couple of minutes. I just have an announcement very quick to do in French. Bear with me, we're going to switch to English in the next session. Donc aujourd'hui, on a reçu comme invité, on va recevoir Curt Stevenson. Vous allez voir que c'est vraiment quelqu'un de très important dans le skate, puisque c'est lui qui a, avec son père, créé la marque Makaha. Et puis, Thierry n'est pas là. En fait, je crois qu'il est sur la route. Il m'a dit qu'il allait nous écouter il est parti en vacances dans les Landes. Donc, voilà, nous, on travaille et lui, il est parti en vacances. Mais c'est bien, c'est ce qu'il faut. Il faut des vacances de temps en temps. Hein. Donc, bonjour Thierry, si tu nous écoutes, on est là, on pense à toi et on t'aime très fort. Donc, on est live. N'oubliez pas qu'on est live tous les samedis à 18h. Et donc, faut en profiter. Hein. Si vous avez des questions à nous poser, si vous avez des questions sur le skate, sur Makaha, sur Larry Stevenson ou à Curt ou à Poweredge, on va parler de tout ça pendant les prochaines 50 minutes. Il faut en profiter. Et puis, si vous avez des histoires, des photos ou des trucs à nous raconter sur l'époque, profitez-en. Moi, j'ai une histoire à vous raconter, en fait, parce que moi, j'ai connu Curt il y a une quinzaine d'années et je vais vous raconter comment je l'ai connu. Donc, à l'époque, moi, je commençais à peine mon website qui s'appelait I Skate, Therefore I Am. Et par l'intermédiaire de Pierre-André Sénizergue, j'ai eu une invitation pour quelque chose qui s'appelle The Maloof Money Cup. Donc, j'étais là, j'étais en train de faire des photos, j'étais sur la rampe, en bas de la rampe, partout, sur le street, etc. Et puis, il y a quelqu'un qui s'avance vers moi et qui me dit, en anglais, bien sûr, hein, tu fais des photos. Je dis, ouais, je fais des photos. Et il me dit, ouais, moi, je cherche vraiment des gens qui font des photos de skate parce qu'on a le magazine Poweredge et tout. Et puis, je suis en train de faire un film qui s'appelle We Are Skateboarder. Et donc, j'aimerais bien si tu pouvais travailler avec nous. Et puis, ça s'est pas fait. Malheureusement, mais bon, c'est pas grave parce que 14 ans après, 15 ans après, voilà, on a Larry Stevenson qui est avec nous. Hi Larry, how are you doing? Good morning.
Well, Larry's not here. He's my father.
Yeah, that's Curt. Sorry.
He passed away. He passed away in 2011. I want to excuse myself here. I'm not wearing these to look cool. I don't see. I've got a weak right eye, terribly weak. Anyway, so I'm not wearing these for any other reason, it's kind of bright, and I thank you for. Anyway,
so tell me about your dad. So Larry
Stevenson was my father, and an extremely interesting man, and a great guy. And I got to tell you, when he passed away 12 years ago, it rocked my world. Even though we knew he wasn't well, it was extremely difficult to lose my dad, and all the things that he'd done, and all it was so hard. But I'm happy to be here with you and talk about any questions or thoughts.
Sure. So, like I said in the introduction in French, Larry is very important. That's one of the most important person for skateboarding. So, can you, like in 1-2 minutes, give us the story of your dad, where he was born, what he was doing, and up to like the 60s, early 60s, right?
Well, my father was born in Los Angeles, California, in December 22, 1930. His mother was Inez Stevenson,
mm-hmm.
and the father was Leonard Cass Stevenson, Los Angeles, Cal. He grew up in Santa Monica and Venice. He had a home in Venice where he grew up, and was eventually a lifeguard on the beach on Venice Beach, right where the skate park is. Rightfully yes. So, if you were to add it all up, the person that was at that skate park more than anyone was Larry Stevenson in the 50s and the 60s, because his lifeguard stand was right there, and that's where he stayed his whole career. So it's neat to go to that skate park and see the lifeguard stand. And
yes. So tell us about the So he was a surfer, right? So he started as a surfer,
He was a
and then
water
he had
sports. Yeah, he loved the water and the ocean. Yeah.
it was like in the 50, 55, something
Yeah,
like that.
well, for him, he had a swimming scholarship
Hmm.
from Santa Monica College after graduating from Venice High in 48. And so he graduated and went to Santa Monica College, got his bachelor's, and then went ahead on a business, wanted to have a business degree at USC. So they took him on a swimming scholarship. And that always meant a lot to my dad. It meant a lot to him.
So and then he invented Makaha. So let me tell you, before you talk about Makaha, let me tell you something that I found in Transworld in I think it was in 2012, and they say what are the 10 most important products that changed skateboarding forever. So I'm gonna go from number 8 to number 1. So number 8 is the double kick. The number 7 is the Natas Copas from Etnies. The number 6 is a 7-ply. The number 5 is the Indie trucks. The number 4 is the Vans waffle shoes. The number 3 is the precision bearing. The number 2 is the Cadillac wheels. And the number 1 is the Makaha skateboard. So actually, I have a picture. Oh, sorry, I lost my. I have a picture here. Oh, I lost it.
Happens to me all the time.
Where is it? Okay. So here, so this is the page from 1972 from Transworld, where they say
It
on
can't
the
be
number
72. Yeah, go on. Excuse me for interrupting. You must mean not 72, but it's in the recent twos. I
oh,
know.
2012. It was 2012, yes.
Right. Yeah.
So Makaha is the number one reason why we skate, right? Because it's the number one most important thing in skateboarding.
I would say that is too kind for my dad, but he and Mark Richards in at Val Surf started around the same time, and he always was wondering if he came up with a skateboard. His thing, because there were skateboards before Makaha. They just weren't as sophisticated. They weren't as good,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a rivalry between Mark Richards and my father. And Richards is from Val Surf out in the valley. They got 5 stores. They're a big deal here in Los Angeles, and Makaha decks are available at Val Surf actually. So it's pretty cool. The rivalry ended years and years and years ago, but so they don't know if it was Mark Richards or Larry but they just agree that they same year, same time.
Both.
Yeah.
When you talk about Val Surf, is that a hobby?
Surfing for my father?
No, for skateboarding, hobby skateboards.
At that time, I would guess in the early 60s, and would say that skateboarding was closely associated with people that were at the beach as far as I saw. And then, of course, but this was, when I was 5 in 1970. So, I mean, it was always around school or at the beach. And it started growing into the middle of the country, and people could actually surf in middle America. Kids could actually ride the concrete wave.
So what pushed your dad to make Makaha? First of all, why Makaha? What does that mean? Because I mean, skateboarders don't know. Surfers, they know, but skateboarders, I mean, they probably have no idea why it's called Makaha.
Makaha was named Makaha because of the beach, the famous surfing beach in Hawaii called Makaha.
Mm-hmm.
It's famous. I'm going to say for its lefts, but somebody else will probably say for its big rights. And it's just a famous beach. And there's Little Makaha. There's a picture of my dad. That's nice. Yeah. This right here is the first sticker that he had put on his 1963 boards. He had boards before 63. And this is what the sticker would have looked like. He had a partnership with Phil Edwards, with the first kind of nice looking, very small though, 24 inches, 24-inch skateboard with that your feet could barely fit on. And Phil Edwards would put his name and his likeness on the Makaha skateboard for a short while. And that's how my dad got the idea to put more surfers. Yeah. He was a lifeguard. He was on the beach. He saw them coming in and surfing. Excuse me. They'd be surfing. There'd be no surf, so they'd come in and skateboard. Or he'd see them bring their boards. And pretty soon he got to talking to them, and he just knew that they were very closely associated, these two things. When there was no surf, surfers would skate around.
So a surfer on the longboard, that's the Makaha brand, and it has not changed since the 60s, right? It's the same logo that you're using right now.
That's right. Although we do have several different logos. That's the main logo, and the Commander was a famous. That's one you'll see the word Commander in the Makaha, and that's because he had one red skateboard that looked like
I have this one Malibu.
Some guys tried to steal that a few years ago.
Oh,
they put that out. We had to go to their house and be like, "What are you doing?"
Oh, I understand what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
this is the new.
The
new incarnation, the 2020s of Makaha, and although it's a little cut off, that right there is,
I wanted to show the difference. This is the reissue, of course, right? But the Makaha boards in the 60s, they were looking like that?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really
not always,
awesome.
But yes.
Yes, yeah. And so this is, and so you're still selling those boards, right?
We have all kinds of hardwood skateboards, and we sell them on our website, makahskateboards.com. We're retooling and revamping the website and the product on it.
Yeah.
So we're always in flux. I sell Makaha decks. And the reason I bring that up, my shoe wanted to say hello.
Hi, shoe.
So the Makaha deck. This is just a little cruiser board that we've had made. This is a Paul Schmidt deck.
Yeah.
Paul Schmidt's a great friend and was a great father, and so he and his bud Cholo Roland Sanchez made this up from Scum Skates. So we were really excited. We've got a bunch of Makaha logos. We've got new styles. We got shirts, 60th anniversary stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw the 60. That's the 60 issue, right? 1963, 2023. So 60 years. And you're still there. I mean, not a lot of brands are still there after 60 years. You know, it's very difficult.
It's not with Makaha, though. With Makaha, it's an image and a lifestyle that never died. It kind of died out a little bit I guess in the 80s, but longboarding and cruiser skateboarding, you'll find it everywhere at the beach these days.
Yeah.
And also just regular, skateboarding. But to be honest, it's bigger than ever.
Yeah. So that's Larry at his desk, I guess, right?
2600 Colorado Boulevard.
Yeah. In Santa Monica, right?
Yeah. Yes. And I'm going to give you some names.
Okay.
The first team, these guys would come along. I like that picture a lot.
Yeah.
These guys would come along. Phil Edwards, Mike Hinson, Squeak Blank, Torger Johnson, Bruce Logan, the Logan family, Jim Ganser, Jim Fitzpatrick, Danny Bearer, Woody Woodward, John Fries, Greg Carroll, and George Trafton were all skateboarders. And at any one time, there'd be like a group of them.
Yes.
And they'd probably switch off because it was from like between 61, '63 that everything was getting started. Surf Guide magazine was published specifically at this time so he could put skateboarding with surfing.
Yeah. Tell us about Surf Guide. What is it? Who created it? What was it for?
So John Van Hammersveld and Larry Stevenson, as well as there's a great writer. God damn it, I'm forgetting his name. And a good friend of my dad's that passed away from the same disease my dad had. It'll come to me in a minute. But they had a famous magazine called Surf Guide that was very close to being one of the first surf magazines, and they had a terrible rivalry with Surfer magazine
and surfing.
Yeah. And, they'd go at it, and they'd put articles against one another, making each other look bad, cartoons. So Surf Guide did a cartoon. I believe it's Severson, who ran, I believe it's Surfer or Surfing. I'm forgetting at the moment, but anyway, he was the managing editor of that, the Dana Point crew of magazines, and in Santa Monica was Larry Stevenson with Surf Guide, and so they Surf Guide made, my dad didn't know this, put a cartoon of like Severson, I believe his name, Severson. So I should know this. He made him look like a king, King Severson over the ocean, and it was written by Bob Feigl, I think, and who was a very important figure in Surf Guide magazine. And so my father got sued by Surfer magazine, and God damn it, I gotta check that up. I hate that. But
so is that the reason
they went out of business after a couple years? And
but there was a lot of competition anyway between Surfer and Surf Guide. It was maybe there was not enough readers for the three magazines, I guess. There
wasn't enough advertisers.
There were, that's the thing. Yeah, maybe enough readers, but not enough publicity. Yeah, ads. Yeah. So let's go back to the team. So the team is very important because, first of all, it was the very first team in skateboarding in the early 60s, right? From 61, 62 to 65, 66, right? And you gave us the name, and we received Jim Fitzpatrick a couple of weeks ago, and he told us about, first of all, I mean, it was very important because not only it was a team that was doing demo in the United States, but Larry sent Jim to France, and then I think after he sent someone else, maybe Torger Johnson or someone else. But I know Jim stayed a couple of weeks in France, and I mean, we did a 1 hour on that. Jim coming to France and meeting the people of Biarritz, which is in the south of France, which is the place where French surfing was born, and that's probably the best.
I saw the interview with Jim.
Yeah, you saw the interview.
So I look up to Jim Fitzpatrick in a big way, and he's a good man, and I was so happy to hear that interview. Yeah, I heard him talking about that it was kind of similar to where he would surf, and right? I mean, wasn't he mentioning that it was like his area over here in the hills of Santa Monica? And, around this area down by the ocean.
Yeah, I have just a couple of pictures from Jim.
That's Jim. Yeah. There's that Makaha skateboard taped with a helmet, ready to go overseas.
Yeah, so this, you can see it's a Makaha board, and it's the original from 1963 or 1964, something like that, with the sticker. And he told us that he had to bring the helmet because he was surfing a couple of days or a couple of weeks before, and our mom said, "You're not gonna go skate if you don't wear a helmet." So he had to take a helmet with him.
I think it's a great story, and I'm gonna tell you, when I look at that picture, I can see a modern day skateboard strapped to that pack, and the helmet looks the same.
Yeah. So at the time, Makaha boards, they were solid wood, right? It was not ply.
He would use ash. Um, he would have some stringer boards, but not very many stringer. Um, the kind that we make today are stringer boards that are glued together. They
Hmm.
probably shouldn't be. They should probably be. It's a hard process, but and back in the day, they would just use solid wood. They were just happy to have good wheels
Yeah.
and good trucks, which Makaha was able to provide.
So at the time, it was 1964, 1965. So it was still clay wheels, right? We were not with the metal wheels anymore, but it was there was a transition from metal to clay, which was better than metal wheel, right?
Yes, completely. Metal wheels were like just like ice skates on the concrete. If you think about it, except that the ice, think of it. I mean, it's like dragging an ice skate on basically on concrete. But
Hmm.
they did that for years. So yeah, they put
Hmm.
them roller skates for girls. So naturally they put them on skateboards in the very very beginning. Like there's skateboard companies from the late '50s that actually produced these toys.
Yes.
They were toys.
So Makaha was the first big company who produced for the masses. It was the first company to set up a team to do demos. It was
Yeah,
the first company to send people abroad to promote skateboarding and Makaha. And it was also the first company who invented the kicktail. Can you tell us about that?
it's a great story. Larry Stevenson. Um, it's a huge gnarly story because it set the stage for a lot of problems for my father later on in his life.
Mm.
He took there were so many it, skateboarding died out in his stories to me, which I'm relating to you. Many of the things that I'm saying come straight from my father. So he told me that around 65, 66, that skateboarding had died out because of cities having kids breaking their legs, some people
Mhm.
dying, and was worried that people were dying on his products. He didn't know, but I mean, it really worked on him, and he did not like it, and the other companies did not like hearing that people were getting really, really seriously injured on skateboards. And if you could go down a hill on those clay wheels, you wouldn't be stopping. You'd be falling.
Yeah.
And so he says that that's when skateboarding died out. That would be like the first phase from 61, 62, 63 through like 66
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something, he said.
Yeah. People now
And
in
the kicktail I'll
2020.
get to. Let me get to
Yes.
that in a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me interject. The kicktail was a necessary item for him to go ahead and make it more safe for kids to get on a skateboard. If you look at the actual patent, he patented the front and back kicktail. We should have an image of that on this podcast, but we don't, and that's okay. But if you look it up, you'll find it. Larry Stevenson kicktail patent online, Google. Um,
Yeah, I don't
and
have
it's interesting because,
it.
yeah, he got, and he asked companies just for a few cents, nickels per board, if they used his what he called a lever extension, and what it means is, oh yeah, that's me in my Venice. Look at that. And so he went out of his way to make a metal structure with a piece of wood on it that would have bars, basically like sissy bars. So you'd put your front foot and your back foot on them, just like today's skateboard, almost
Mhm.
identical. And of course, it didn't look like today's pressed boards, but it was the actual same stance. And you could move it. You can make your board 32 inches, 33 inches. People don't know that. They just think some guy made a silly pat. It's not like that. This thing was able to allow you to do kick turns, which no one was really doing well. Um, and it took off. And during the 70s, he was getting paid by GNS, some other companies that would pay a nickel a dime per deck that they sold. So they said.
Mhm.
Um, and then we went to Grand Tech, and Grand Tech was a large company. Makaha was a large company. 16 million skateboards were sold in the like first part of the 70s. He had made some plastic skateboards that are famous and famously copied by Penny. I mean, to the T. They took his mold and just redid it. Not the shape, just they redid it themselves. It's like they took the same mold and just started making boards. While my dad was alive, because they make, is that a Makaha? And because it was the same thing. Yeah. And so Penny got off on that, but Makaha did too in the 70s. So the kicktail, and he put the front kicktail there for the kids that wanted to use that, but it was really mainly the back kicktail. And that's when you started seeing back kicktails on skateboards, when Larry patented the front and back kicktail. And the world changed. Skateboarding completely changed. All the tricks of today, I mean, it's possible that an obvious that someone may have, which I'll get to, like the obvious part of putting a nice place to put your foot, a kicktail. It may have come along soon. We didn't know, but my dad did it anyways, patented it, got it out first, and was credited with being the man who created what modern day skateboarding uses primarily to do its tricks. There'd be no Tony Hawk's doing his big 180s.
Yeah. So I'm showing a video right now. I know that. Let me rewind the video if I can. Okay, hold on 1 second. So can you tell us, it's a trailer for a video that's upcoming, but the story of your dad and Makaha, right? Is that correct?
It is indeed. It's about, well, my father was 70-ish, and we started the project in 2002 or 3. It was filmed, and many of these great skaters were interviewed. My dad passed away in 2012 after seeing several rough cuts with these skateboarders and a couple of full houses. And we did that just for him. And he got to see his life story basically on a film that Sean Bryant put together. There's a clip. Mike Purpose, who was also involved with the Makaha skateboard team, holding a replica Commander. Mm-hmm. And that's Corky Carroll, Dan Bearer. I forget this guy's name. Tony Alva.
Yeah.
That's a clip you want to listen to. He's been very kind to my father. I heard him on an FM radio interview 25 years ago, and he was very kind to my dad. And we love Tony Alva and always have. And Jay Adams. Of course, he wasn't as vocal as Tony was about.
Yeah. So this is something I didn't know. I had no idea. But so Jay Adams and Tony Alva, before going with the Z Boys, they were riding Logan and Makaha boards, right?
That's right. Yeah. Bruce Logan was on the first 63 team, and he always was my dad's favorite, actually. And so he would test out new boards, and he would meet up with my father. Then he decided to start Logan Earthski with his brothers and his sisters and family. And they're known as the first family of skateboarding. And I'm sure there was a lot of families, and I'm sure there was a lot of skateboard companies. I don't know how any of us can actually know for sure if we're the first, but we pretty much know. And and so like I'm saying, the movie is about his journey from surf guide to Pesman. That's right. Archer Blank. Excuse me. Here, Hal Blaine's Wrecking Crew. That's the album for the soundtrack. The Makaha soundtrack. By Sean Bryant. And then there's the Poweredge cover. But yeah, all this was covered in this movie. It's about 45 to 50 minutes.
Yeah. And when is it going to be out? I mean, okay, so
It was
first of all,
already
if
released. It
yeah,
reminds me of the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus for this reason, because it was made at great cost and time and was shelved basically. And the Rolling Stones shelved it because they didn't look good in the movie and everybody else did, so they didn't put it out. Our reason is a little more like my father had passed away, and
mhm.
I don't believe that Sean felt it was right to try to finish it and put it out at right then and there. It seemed something he wanted to do later. So Sean worked on the album of the Makaha soundtrack, and now he's thinks he can get it together with the film. So
Yeah.
yeah, a Makaha, Larry Stevenson, real movie. Yeah.
So if you want to see the trailer, it's on YouTube. So just go. It's like a 3-minute trailer, and you're gonna see just what I broadcasted a couple of minutes ago. So Makaha started in the early 60s. It went great in the middle of 60s, 65, and then it went burst, and then it rises again in the 70s, and then everything got wrong, and the skateboard died again in the early 80s. And then you decided to do Poweredge. So that was in 1987, right? So there was a lot of boom and burst about skateboarding. And at the end of the 80s, there was a boom about skateboarding. Can you tell us about that? And especially Poweredge.
The 80s were crazy for skateboarding. The early 80s was pretty big because the boards started becoming really sophisticated with really good kicktails. There were really good skateboards in 1980. Great urethane wheels from Frank Nasworthy. It started from that urethane wheel that Nasworthy did. And the 80s were a big time. I was in high school, got out in 83, but it was all skateboarding all the time, new, and only got better as the 80s went on. And in 87, 88, we started Poweredge to go over. There was already Thrasher and Transworld.
Yeah. Yes.
They were charging so much money for advertising that Poweredge and my father decided to call it Poweredge for some reason. He was a crazy guy. He didn't have an edge or power, but he liked the name a lot, and he was always sketching it out, and he showed the artists, and they loved it. He got a financial agreement was made with the people from Atlantic Skates.
Yes.
Now owned by Reggie Barnes and family, and Dorsey Truitt came along to help my dad. He had done that many times throughout my dad's career out of Atlantic Skates. And his son Patrick and I are friends, and he's a good man.
Yeah, I'm going to receive Patrick next Saturday. So it's all in the family. So how many issues did Poweredge had? It lasted like four years, something like that.
31 issues, I believe.
31 issues, yeah.
31 too. That's Kevin Staub with 90, his 90 company, doing what looks like some kind of fakey.
Oh, that was the original guy, right?
Kevin
From the
Staub?
60s. Yeah. What's his name?
60s. No, Staub's an 80s guy, and he's still around. He's still skateboarding and has 90, I think. And that's because 1990 was coming, and he just decided. He was a big friend with a band. I think it was the Cult or something. I'm not sure, but 90 would show up on. You'd see it on TV. His company, Staub, Kevin Staub, Staab.
Yes. So why did you stop Poweredge? Same thing because of ads?
Well, we started it. Thank you for keeping me focused. The ADD kicks in, and I'm just like, I don't know what you're doing.
That's okay.
I can remember songs, but I can't remember conversations very well. The magazine was a repeat of Surf Guide, so we brought Surf Guide issues to the artist and said, just do this and make it for skateboarding. but they went nuts. Like this cover with the guy holding a gun.
Yeah.
Well, the distributor was called World Color Press and Cable News, and that cover that's got oh my god, I'm forgetting this badass's name. Oh shit.
That's a provocative cover. I mean, even for the US, right?
Yeah, he's a famous skateboarder with a really great story. I don't remember it, but we did an interview with him, and that's the cover. And damn it, I gotta take better notes. That's
I have a lot of cover, not all of them, but I have a lot of covers.
That's Swank, and that's Swope, John Swope. That I'm not sure. Maybe Tony. I don't know.
I don't see.
But yeah, it was a big magazine, and if you look through the issues of Poweredge, you'll see that they copied Surf Guide. I mean, they would take these pages, the editorial pages, and make them very similar. And we had young writers like Christian Klein, Alex Schroeder, Roger Scarboza, Spencer Barge, oh gosh, and the film guys that processed. Back then, you had to do it all by separations, color separations, and so it wasn't just like a computer job. It was $20,000 to make one issue, just to put the art together, and then you'd send it off and pay $60,000 for printing.
So this is an editorial from Poweredge, written by Alex Schroeder, and like in one page it tells the story of skateboarding from the 1950 to 1990. Of course, we are in 2024, right? So you have to read the other story. But
Schroeder's brother and family were also very influential. Well, Ben Schroeder and his brother Alec, extremely a big deal in skateboarding, and even today Ben Schroeder's an incredible all-around skateboarder that just will skate anything, and he's just really good.
Yeah, so that's a good transition, because I wanted to talk about your movie, We Are Skateboarders, and Ben Schroeder is in the movie. There's a lot of people in the movie, right?
But it's a good movie because we just started. Oh gosh, Ben Duffy, my good buddy. He was 18. He was filming down on Lincoln here with Alec Beck, who's Tony Hawk's guy. Alec, and he used to work at Jay-Z's down here, but he was doing this incredible running through traffic on the skateboard, ollieing the curb and doing a wall ride on the cultural center down there, and then doing a board slide off of the railing and landing it. And he could do it. He would do these incredibly fast ollies, and then wall ride, wall ride, like 5-foot wall ride. It was incredible. So I got out of my car. This was 2009, and I talked with Ben, who was filming, and I said, "Buddy, I want to do my magazine again," because I felt like when we went out of business with Poweredge, which was my dad's deal, but he laid it on me, and I was just a kid. I had a ton of problems, and so I wasn't able to really be this managing editor at 25 years old like I should have been. I was more of a musician, but the point is that we did 31 issues, and then in 2009 we were able to put several more issues together that were just like mind-bendingly good. Mike Vallely. Really, I don't know if you can see these, but I took
we can see the pictures. Yes,
this is his band Revolution Mother. That's one of my favorite shots of him. He's anyway. This is the magazine Poweredge, one of the newer from the 2009, 2011 era. We put out only 3, and a 4th one on the way. Again, it's a $20,000 or $30,000 endeavor every time you put one of these together. And this is 100 pages.
So the movie We Are Skateboarder. Why did you do that movie? What was the idea?
It was Ben's idea.
Oh, okay. Ben Schroeder.
Duffy. Ben Duffy.
Ben Duffy. Okay.
No relation to Pat Duffy. He's a young filmmaker who's actually since that time has gone on to make Take a Look at This Heart or Look at This Heart and a couple other really inspiring movies about the human condition. But this movie about We Are Skateboarders is because he loves skateboarding, and all he did was live to hitchhike to the next skateboarder's house to hang out and sleep in the garage and then go film. It was a way that kids, I was 45 or whatever, and I loved being young and staying young and just being involved with skateboarding. So I got back and filmed with him and decided to take these filming sessions and make Poweredge as well at the same time. So we did, and the first one came out, and it was a Sean Sheffy comeback issue. This is a controversial cover because people didn't know if they liked the new Poweredge. And the reason we did this is a crazy idea. That's Sean Sheffy, a famous skateboarder. I hope he sees this. And this is him doing the Poltergeist poster. And it's like, we're back. So and Sheffy just couldn't understand what we were doing.
Yeah.
He brought his skateboard. He's like, why am I doing this? He's a great guy and incredible skateboarder.
So with We Are Skateboarders, you did a tour, right? In a lot of cities and
Ben got a lot of mileage.
Yeah.
I was pleased to tag along as the older friend that just loved making skateboard, anything to do with skateboarding, to take my mind off of any other issues that were going on at the time. And it was nice to get to relive a full skateboarding experience in my 40s.
Yes.
I mean,
So now
several years.
Yeah, so no, same thing. I mean, the movie is like 14 years old, something like that, right? Because it was done in 2009, but it was issued like in 2014, something like that, 2013.
Got a million hits on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, and was very popular. I remember at the screening here in Venice, Heidi Lemon had helped out. Heidi's a big name down here.
Hi, Heidi.
And anyway, we'd put all the kids from Venice came to see from miles around to see this in this church that had a ramp down the street from here. And it was packed, but it was long. And Ben hadn't made him. This was his first real movie, and he was a young man. So he'd put it together, and it was long. It was like almost an hour and 45 minutes. And the kids were just like, "Come on," And so he had cut it down. But yeah, that was very interesting, and it was a very. If you look at the movie, I don't know. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it on YouTube because it's now available on YouTube. Like I say, it's like the trailer for for your dad story. Everything is on YouTube. So if you want to have more information, or if you want to see something about the We Are Skateboarders or Makaha, go on YouTube and you'll find a lot of good information and good clips.
Oh, there's so much.
So tell me. So tell me, just because we are about to finish, tell me about the music. You're a musician, right? I mean, you're coming with the guitar.
I'm going to play out with a song.
Okay.
But no, it's really nice of you to, I'm glad that we got to meet. And I was so happy to see Jim speak. And
hi, Jim. I'm not sure if we're watching now, but
is this it? I mean, are we closing?
Yeah, this is the conclusion. Yes. Is there something else you wanted to add? Well, first of all, if people want to buy your the Makaha boards, they can always reach you on Facebook, right?
Makaha Skateboards. Our phone number. Well, my phone number is 310.
Okay.
570. 0859.
Again,
it's a completely hacked phone, so it doesn't matter where you call from. Just call me at any time if you need a board, any parts. We're active in the board industry, so yeah.
Okay. Say it again, the phone number.
310-570-0859.
Okay.
That's like active customer service on the West Coast.
Okay.
There's East Coast, which is Sean Bryant's territory. So that would be where you would go on the East Coast, is to the to Sean Bryant and his online store. He's out of Florida.
So thank you so much, Curt. I hope everybody liked it. I loved it, of course. I mean, and like I say in the introduction, I mean, Makaha is really in the heart of skateboarders, because it was there at the beginning. It was there on the kicktail. It was there with Poweredge.
Yes.
So it's been a company and great people.
Thank you too,
from
kind,
the
man.
50s.
Really,
I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah, no, I'm so grateful that you say these words. It's a real pleasure to hear people saying nice things. And my dad would have loved it. He was really shy about his accomplishments. And just when the movie does come out, and the clips that you'll see, he's just a really sweet man and a good man. And he made a big deal out of skateboarding. It's just a fact. So.
And just one thing for the end. So my friend Thierry Dupin, so we've been skateboarding together since the early 70s, and at the time he was talking all about Makaha and Logan, Bruce Logan. You know, those guys, they were his idols. So he's on vacation right now, but I'm sure he's listening. Probably on his car, he's driving down to Biarritz to go surfing. You know, so he couldn't be there. But he's I mean, when you talk with him, he says, "Oh, Logan." I mean, he has the name was like, wow, that was his hero, and Makaha, you know.
I'm gonna make a quick addition to this, and that is that my dad got, when he was doing the kicktail, he got sued by Grand Tech. They didn't want to pay their fees for the kicktail. Mm-hmm. So what had happened was I know we were going to leave, but this is interesting. He had to fight Grand Tech and some other companies that had ganged up on him to get rid of to just say that his patent was not valid, which it was completely valid. They had gotten a guy, my buddy Ray Flores, who now is my good friend, a great guy. They got him to get up there and tell any kind of story they could just to get out of paying, because they were selling 1 million skateboards. Mm-hmm. If they had to pay 10 cents or a quarter per board, you can understand why they wanted to sue my dad, who had a very successful patent, but he had to keep coming up with money to defend these groups that wanted out and they don't want to pay, and they're going to say anything to get out. So they said it was a natural, that my dad's patent, which is not true, is a natural evolution of skateboarding, and would have happened no matter what. And they said that because of the way, when you stand on a skateboard that's flat, eventually the tails kind of come up a little bit because of the weight in the middle. And so you could see that all the time. So they said it's so obvious banana boards were going to be kicktails, and Larry just seized the moment to make a real kicktail board, an actual double kicktail. And so they kept arguing that's not, he shouldn't get a patent because it was going to happen anyway. And we don't believe that's true. We believe that he went way out of his way to make a special double kicktail skateboard that worked and would work and did work, and is now the prime. It's the only skateboarder. It's a main skateboarder, 8x32 double kicktails. Anyway, that's the ending to the kicktail story, and it really affected him the rest of his life.
I can imagine.
So and then I got involved with my friends. I was a big Doors fan, so I started a band with my friend Waylon Krieger, he and I started a band with my high school buddies, and put out an album. The band was called Creatures, Rituals, and Weird Lies, and I always loved the Doors. And I heard a song, I think it's an Elvis song, Mystery Train. Mm-hmm. And I think they covered it. They did cover it. Train I ride 16 coaches long. Train I ride, 16 coaches long. Train, rolling down that track. That mean back train took my baby again. Train, rolling down the track. That mean back train took my baby again. I watch you Sundays gently praying for the world. Inside cathedrals, shadows fall to the floor. I'm here, same reason I was here before. Right on, sweet good night. Light plays tricks on your eyes, and I will believe your lies. Got pretty eyes.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Curt. See you soon. Talk to you soon, and we need to go somewhere place. Skateboarding and
Look at some music.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Everybody, I'm going to finish in French. Donc, on se retrouve samedi prochain à 18h avec un autre invité. Thank you, Curt. Have a good day. Bye-bye.